So it's been a couple of weeks since my last real upload, and I just thought I'd give some updates. I'm not going to do an intro or anything because I'll be changing all of that soon enough. The main reason I started YouTube a few months ago was to kind of get my writing and my author brand in more places while, offering some advice that's worked for me as well as, providing some sort of entertainment for you guys. While it has been somewhat working, creating YouTube videos is way down on the list of priorities in my life. I have absolutely zero desire to be a content creator or a slave to YouTube's algorithm to make a living. So, which brings me to some good news. For those of you that don't follow me on Twitter or aren't in my Discord, last month I accepted a job offer. So, I start my new job on October 15th, which is this upcoming Tuesday, at least from when I'm recording this. And it's not going to be remote, which kind of has its positives and its negatives. I won't have as much time available during the day to take care of things around here, especially my sick dog. And I'll have to change up, my workout routine that I've kept for the last 4 years, even though like during the last 4 months I've been just slacking and gaining weight, but that's a whole other topic. It will be good to actually have some people to talk to, and I've already met the team, and they seem like a really good, group of people to work with. So there are, pros and cons, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm actually, after working remote for the last 4 years, I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of looking forward to getting back into an office setting again. So knowing I have employment covered, I've been taking the last few weeks as time to myself. I've done absolutely no writing and definitely haven't been making YouTube videos. Instead, I've been focusing on my physical and mental health. By just going on long hikes, working out, going on bike rides, and just enjoying the outdoors before we're buried under 3 feet of snow for 5 months here. I've started losing some of the extra weight I've gained, but there's still like a long way to go to get back to where I was. This year, the stress has just pretty much destroyed me. It's just been stress, depression, just between the job situation and personal things, and it's just one thing after another. And then of course the stress with Jax being sick and having to spend thousands of dollars on tests and medication and treatment, and it's just been I'm starting to feel the effects of it, and I have been feeling the effects of it for the last 4 months, and it's just good to finally let go for these past, I don't know, for the past 3 weeks or so, and just take this time to just be out in nature, get away from this house, and just do stuff that I want to do instead of just sticking to this rigid schedule of I have to write for the Patreon, I have to get YouTube videos out, I have to keep job hunting, just this constant worry, sleepless nights. It's all taken such a toll, and it's just finally good to be, these last 3 weeks have been very good to just completely decompress. So for the very few that actually care, I do have plans for the channel, for the future of this channel. For now, I'll be putting videos on hiatus for about a month or two as I gradually get my life and my routines back on track. There are also a lot of things I need to do and buy in preparation of getting this new job, including, buying snow tires, getting my car serviced, making sure that, because it is I want to say it's going to be either 35 to 40 minutes depending on the weather at any given time, traveling back and forth from my house here to Frisco, especially during the winter. So I need to make sure that I've got all of my ducks in a row as far as like winter driving goes here in the mountains, because the snow here is no joke. I know, a lot of you probably have, you're either living in places that don't snow, or you're living in places that, the snow, it'll snow for like, I don't know, a couple of days, it melts, you have, I don't know, it just, I lived in Florida all my life, so I automatically assumed like when I was a kid that it would just snow all year long. Apparently, it doesn't do that in a lot of places. So, yeah, but it does here. It will snow. The snow stays on the ground and it doesn't melt, and we don't get above freezing until probably about end of April, mid-May. So, yeah, so I'll need to get snow tires. I'll need to make all those preparations, and of course I've got to find Jack's a new vet too that's open on the weekends, because right now I've been driving back and forth from Leadville to Fairplay, which is about an hour and a half drive, which, you know, it's starting to get old, so now I need to take him to either a vet in Breckenridge or Frisco or somewhere around here that's a little closer. There's no living in a town like this, there seems to not be any full-time anything here. No vets, no groomers, no nothing. Even though this town has it's like full of people who have dogs, there just seems to be like no people actually doing any servicing around here at all. I mean, it's just it's crazy, especially with the vet. You know, having to drive an hour and a half to go to the vet over here, or having to drive 40 minutes to go to a vet here or there. It just, especially when you have a chronically sick dog like this. And I think that this will probably be the last Christmas for Jax, because he's not getting any better. The vet has decided to stop medications because they're not working, they're just making him worse. So he's back to excessive thirst, peeing everywhere, that sort of thing. So, in fact, I just had to clean the carpet here because he peed right next to my my Bowflex. So I'm thinking I'm going to spend one more Christmas with him, and then probably, either January or February, make that decision to, have him put down, because he has no quality of life anymore, and I am just. My life is just piss. It's just cleaning up constant piss everywhere because he can't control his bladder. He drinks excessively. It's not a very fun sickness. He's gained a lot of weight because of the extra cortisol in his system. So it's painful to watch him, suffer like this. So I'm not going to keep him alive for that much longer. I just want to spend one more Christmas with him and then make that decision. Unfortunately, this is probably going to destroy Mila because him and Mila are litter mates, so they've been together all their lives, and she knows something's wrong because I always see her every now and then licking his face or just staying by him. So when he goes, I'll have to pay some extra attention to her and make sure that she's okay. Not really looking forward to that because she's probably going to be very confused, wondering what's going on. So the sad news aside, once I start getting those paychecks, from my new job, which thankfully it looks, this job, even though it's not full-time programming, there is some programming with it, but it's mostly technical. It's mostly IT support. It's mostly systems administration, SQL management, that sort of thing. So there's not really any heavy programming that's going to be going on with this job. Thankfully, actually, it's kind of a relief because I really was getting tired of programming. So this will be a break from all of that, and not only that, but it pays more than I was making as a programmer. So that's a plus. So once I start getting those paychecks, I'll be building a new computer to replace this one. I built this computer almost 7 years ago, so it's really starting to show its age right now, especially whenever I'm rendering videos. Kind of takes, it takes a little while, it takes a little longer. And it's been freezing quite a lot lately since the upgrade to Windows, whatever the fuck this version of Windows is now. It's Windows 11, I think. But yeah, it's just it's not handling things very well. Even though this was like top of the line system back, in 2018, it's not anymore. So, but I also want to get like an actual camera for the YouTube videos, and like an actual real, mirrorless camera. Get some decent lighting, a high-end microphone. I need a new desk. This desk is, even though it's a corner desk, it's rather thin. It's kind of small. I bought it, it was like $80 on Amazon. I needed something quick that would get here, that was easy to set up because it took the movers about a month and a half to get my stuff here. That's a whole other story too, but I didn't really have anything, so I just wanted to get something set up quickly and replace it, later on. And I've been kind of lazy. I haven't really bought a new desk, so I really need to get a new desk as well. And then maybe, I don't know, get a green screen or something behind me so that, you're not seeing this all the time. But I've saved everything that I'm going to need on a list, and it's gonna be costly. I mean, it's gonna cost around $5,300 because whenever I do build a computer, I do build, top of the line. I want it to last for a long time. I don't want to have to upgrade in 2 years. I want to be able to upgrade in 6 or 7 years. So I'll need to make sure I have all of the other expenses out of the way before I go and do that. So now for the future of my writing, that's a little more straightforward. I'll be back to a more weekend routine for my patrons who've stuck with me throughout all of this mess. I really would not have been able to keep it together without the financial support of my readers. Between book sales, audiobook sales, donations, Patreon, I was able to pull in around, I want to say almost $6,000, and that was over the last 3 months, which was enough to keep me from going through, most, if not all, of my emergency fund and my savings. And trust me, I would have very quickly gone through all of that with the thousands of dollars I've had to spend on vet appointments and medication, and that was just such an unexpected expense that I got slapped with after all of this. So I really can't thank you guys enough for all of that support. I also got a few larger donations after landing the job, which I ended up refunding because I don't feel right taking extra money like that when I'm going to be in a much better position financially going, in the coming months. So, while I really, really do appreciate, the people that are dropping, $300-400, I've had some people drop $2,000. That it really helped. I don't need that anymore. So thank you guys so much. I don't really need those kind of donations anymore. But I will be keeping my Patreon up because the money I make there is pretty substantial, and it will go a long way into helping with, publication costs down the road. So as always, if you want to support my writing through Patreon, the links will be in the description. But as far as one-time donations, those big donations, please don't send those anymore. I really don't need them. And I really do appreciate, I really appreciate everything that you guys have done. That was huge. And I'm I never expected people to actually care so much about, the stuff that I put out there to make sure that I continue doing it, to be able to support me like that financially. I must be good at what I do because, people are throwing money at me. So that was really, that was unexpected. It actually really made me feel positive going forward about my writing career. So I also have some good news about the audiobook for the Varcross Key, and that's been in production, as you guys know, for about over 3 months now. The first run through is done, but upon listening to the earlier chapters when we were trying to establish the voices and the pacing, and we were trying to, Scoober was trying to figure out what the hell he was doing. So a lot of that had to be re-recorded. I think he's up to chapter 7 now, and we'll have to do that all the way up until, when I went back through to listen to the audiobook, it's up until chapter 20. So we have to go through 1 to 20 to make sure that everything is consistent, that there's no, there's no different voice for one character at the beginning of the book, only to have that voice completely changed by chapter 20. So both Scoober and I have been going through everything, correcting mistakes we overlooked, checking for voice consistency, like I just said, checking for pacing, making sure that, it's pleasing to listen to. I may have to speed up some of the chapters just because they may be a little slow. When I'm going back through and listening to them, maybe I like to hear things a little faster. I don't know, but I may end up speeding things up just a tiny bit, not too much to hurt the audio quality or anything, but enough to where the pacing goes a little bit faster. So, I'll have all of this done hopefully by the end of October, mid-November at the latest. So before I release it to Audible, it will be up on my Patreon for the highest tier. And also it will be available for those who have supported me with a lifetime contribution of $20 or more, which is around, if you think about it, $10 less, maybe even more than that, than it would cost on Audible if you don't have credits. So if you don't have credits with Audible or a subscription, it will be available on Patreon for about a month. After that, it'll be removed and it'll be available exclusively through Audible. So those of you that actually have Audible subscriptions and extra credits and stuff that you've been meaning to spend, feel free to drop it on the Varcross Key audiobook. There are some quality issues, like some popping microphone sounds, but for the most part, Skuru did an amazing job for never having done anything like this before. It's been a learning experience for both of us, really. Even though I worked with a voice actor last time for the Mark of Amuli, he was a professional voice actor. He'd done this many, many times before, so I didn't really have to have a lot of intervention. I just would go through the chapters, making sure there were no mistakes, pointing out any, and then he would correct them. Whereas with Skuru, he had never done anything like this before. So I was working more closely with him to try to, find that happy medium to where, the book would be Audible ready. This book, you got to understand, would be a challenge for even a seasoned voice actor, because there are so many unique character voices throughout this book, and it is a very long book. So the fact that he was able to go through this in 3 months, and not only that, he took voice acting lessons. This was a passion project for him. He really enjoyed working on this book. And I know he's going to be very happy when it's finally all done. He did this, not expecting any money, but I will eventually be paying him for all of the time he spent on this. He's the type of guy who says, when he says he's going to do something, he actually does it and puts everything into it. He doesn't just say he'll do stuff and then just forget about it. I actually discussed him possibly narrating the shorter stories I have as well, which of course would be Patreon exclusive. So, hey, gotta have more perks for the patrons. So in short, I'm not quitting YouTube. I'm just going to take some time to get the channel looking a lot better and more professional, and try to find more interesting topics. Aside from a few dipshits in the comments section, it's been a pretty overall positive experience. This was kind of a test to see if I'd enjoy doing stuff like this, which I do kind of. It's obviously not going to take top priority. It's not going to take top priority over my writing, though. So, if I take a week off or two to focus on my books or the publication or anything else like that, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to stress about schedules or retaining an audience here. So, if some of you find my channel useful, you'll subscribe, you'll stay, you'll watch. If you don't, it doesn't really matter to me. The people that actually matter are my readers and my supporters. And those are the main people that I create content for, and that I will continue creating content for. It's not going to be for, some algorithm or for some stranger that has a 30-second attention span on YouTube. Which brings me to my next little rant, I guess, is for the writers that happen to wander onto my channel. Hi, welcome. Feel free to engage, but understand that I in no way care about your insecurities, your writing, or your tendencies to whine and take offense to my advice. So I have the book sales to back up what I say, okay? You're just a random nobody in the comments section. So you can either listen to the advice that's worked for me over the years and apply it to your own way of doing things and your own way of writing, or you can just move on and continue doing the same shit that obviously hasn't been working. So you most likely clicked on my videos hoping to get some advice because you're struggling with something. This is not a channel where I affirm terrible habits and tell you to follow your heart and your dreams, okay? No, if you want that, go somewhere else. Here, writing is a business. I write as a career, not as a hobby. So my advice is going to center around forming writing habits that actually sells books. It's not advice to give you the warm fuzzies or to I don't know, encourage you to continue writing bullshit that doesn't work, okay? It's to encourage you to, focus on getting better as a writer, whether you find that with my channel or you find other ways, other research out there. I've given people links to other, actual best-selling authors that offer their advice on YouTube. There's a myriad of different places that you can go. There's people who give advice that would probably fit more in your genre, more in your writing. So, there are some harsh lessons you're going to have to learn from failure or from people who have failed, okay? You're either going to learn from that or keep writing crap no one wants to read. So I don't care whether you succeed or fail, and I certainly don't care whether you like my advice. That's a you problem, and I'll continue to make book sales and you guys can continue to wallow and be salty bitches. So my next video is going to probably be more focused on harsh truths of this industry, because some of you out there need to be dick slapped by some realities of this industry. Rant over. So I'll see you guys in a couple months with a much better setup, and until next time.